Mga want-uppreneurs, ibig sabihin, want-uppreneurs, hindi entrepreneurs. Want-uppreneurs na gusto lang nila mag-ano, may idea sila. This is the next big thing. This is the next Facebook, the next Instagram. Pero
Correct.
pinasok mo na sila sa battlefield, di nila alam gagawin nila. Well, marunong ka sa technical, and I think yung technical is a foundation mo yun as well. But then if you want to grow the business, you need to learn how to read your numbers.
Today's guest is Franz Pastrana, the founder of Josie AI, a Filipino software engineer turned AI startup builder who is creating tools to help people adapt, earn, and stay relevant in an AI-driven world. From engineering an e-commerce system to building a fast-growing AI product for aspiring virtual assistants. Franz's story is about more than just code. It's about spotting a real problem and building something useful around it. In this episode, we'll unpack his builder journey, the story behind Josie AI, and the realities of startup growth and what founders and engineers need to understand about building in the AI era. And this is Franz Pastrana.
Hello,
Okay.
Franz. Thank you for being here and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sure. Really appreciate. So before we get started, thank you for accepting my invite, and I really appreciate your time for being here. And I know you're very busy, you're very rich at the same time. So yeah. Okay, Franz. When before I start my podcast, I always give a spicy question to my guests. So ready ka na ba?
How spicy?
Hindi naman siya ganun
Sige lang
ka-excited.
bro.
Sobrang lang, medyo mild lang. Okay. So,
Sige.
right now, AI is booming. And this is
Mm.
also related sa'yo kasi you're building with AI as well. Now, since AI is booming, maraming nagsulputan ng mga AI gurus, AI builders, and so on. Do you agree ba na most of them, na mga AI builder, are just for the hype? Or most of the AI builders right now is an actual builder?
I don't know. I think it comes down to how do you define the builder, because it's ngayon kasi the way we build is like a Lego blocks. So before, we're building the way we used to traditional coding, right?
Yes.
Nagko-code tayo ng line by line. So we are typing the code. But now with these AI tools, we are building it via prompting. So it's like building a Lego blocks. As a builder, regardless if you have technical knowledge or not, for me, this is a personal opinion. Many people now are building applications and softwares on solving their own problems, regardless if they have technical knowledge or not. So I think in context of if you're a builder when you're using AI, I think yes, because AI is a tool that helps you build softwares that solves your problem. So we are not in the vacuum of, if you are a builder, quote unquote builder, you need to have technical knowledge. You have, this complex infrastructure. No, it's not. It's like if you know how to build things, not necessarily you need to have technical skills, but if you know how the technical high level works, I think you can define yourself as a builder, because if you can build a solution to your problem, that's technically makes you a builder. Because why we build? We build something because we want to express ourselves. We want to solve a problem. We want to show to the people that we are capable of doing something. Again, with these new AI tools, I think it's enable people to have the ability to build, and not necessarily that, nakakulong lang sa tech people yung pagbi-build. And that's how the job market works nowadays, because product managers are actually building the product themselves. Not they're not relying on developers alone. And I think this is a big jump from technical people because even strategists of a e-commerce site, like I'm very exposed with e-commerce because I'm a Shopify developer before, and our agency is doing we are adapting to AI 100%. So our strategists are using Claude to help them strategize how the e-commerce our brands have more conversion rate. So basically, um, hindi na nila kami directly needed when they want to build like a landing page because they're doing it themselves. Before this AI tools, before Cloud Code, they assigned a task for us. Like we're the devs, right? So we're doing the landing page, and we're doing all those technical things. We upload the landing page to the servers. But now, they're doing it themselves. So I think there will be a hierarchy. There will be a level up hierarchy in the organization because these product managers, strategists can do it themselves. Aside from assigning all the technical um, task or technical needed to the actual developers themselves. And yeah, I think that's a real world example of how AI tools are changing the game for organizations.
That's a really good answer from France. Okay. Yeah, so it seems like you said na becoming an AI builder is not just a hype. It's a reality.
Mm.
Okay. So right now, France, you're building Josie AI. Okay. Um I just wanted to know, why did you build Josie AI, and how did you build it?
So Josie AI idea started when we saw people are asking on Facebook group about how to become a virtual assistant and um, how to start with remote work career. So just to give a context about Josie AI is a learning app that teaches work from home skills and AI tools. So basically, we are upskilling those remote workers, virtual assistant freelancers to adapt and upscale with this new AI tools because those VAs are the ones who's getting affected with this new tools. Kasi right now, the AI tools can now do the VA's job
Hmm.
literally,
Hmm.
and we are thinking of how can we empower those virtual assistants who will get affected with these AI tools, with the AI adoption. And that's why we build Josie AI. So we are teaching them how to use AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini to give them more ability to increase their productivity. Ganyan. So they can stand out when it comes to job market. Kasi we are seeing like after 2 to 3 years, there will be few human virtual assistant will be needed by businesses because these AI tools can do the job for them. And we want to upskill those VAs to make them stand out so that if the businesses or the company needed a human virtual assistant, those people who upskill are the ones will be, stand out and get the job for themselves. These changes are happening right now because like Claude released a new feature that it can control the desktop itself, like
Computer.
OpenClaw. And most of the tasks that Claude can do is that's what the VAs are doing to businesses and companies. And then there are more things that will be released by Claude. I think it is very mind blowing when they release it. Pero ngayon kasi I think inuunti-unti nila, but every week yata merong new feature. So that's the main reason why we built Josie AI because because of the AI adoption. So how I built Josie, it's funny kasi 5 months ago I didn't know how to build mobile app.
Mm.
Um, Juicy AI is originally VE Coach Juicy. It's a web app. I think it's a year ago na we decided to migrate VE Coach Juicy as a web app to a mobile app. But before that, I built multiple products pa kasi in between.
Mm.
Now, so syempre I have many ideas, so I built it one by one, like the Onboard Me, the ProduShot. So like I built 5 apps, 4 of them failed, and only Josie AI got paying customers. So we doubled down on Josie AI, and since meron ng paying customers si Josie, so that's what we focus on our energy. Hindi na kami gumawa pa ng iba. But since we are now in the product market fit, ibig sabihin, meron ng market share si Josie in terms of a learning tool for remote workers. We are now improving the growth. We're double down on marketing, releasing content, ganyan. So 5 months ago, I didn't know how to build a mobile app. So my co-founder said, which is my wife, she said, really eager siya to migrate Josie from web app to mobile app kasi nagkakaproblema kami noon sa payment gateway namin.
Mm.
That's why that's one main reason kaya nag-failed yung VE Coach Josie, which is the web app, kasi nagkakaproblema kami sa sa payment gateway. Ayoko na mag-mention kung ano yun. Laging down, tapos hindi nakaka-receive ng payment. And we figured kasi sa Pilipinas, 90% ng Pinoy ay walang credit card.
Correct.
So may estimate could be wrong kasi nag-update kasi yan, di ba?
Mm.
Pero like I think
Majority talaga.
majority walang credit card, 10 to 12% lang ang may credit card. And most of them are using GCash to transfer money online. Now, I thought, hindi gagana yung credit card payment sa VE Coach UC, which is the web app, kasi wala silang credit card. So, what we know is GCash, di ba? So, yun minarket namin yung VE Coach UC. This is the web app pa, wala pa tayo sa mobile app.
Mm.
So, I think may issue yung payment gateway. Dumating sa point na nag-register ako ng business DTI, ganyan, para lang ma-approve yung payment gateway na yon. And then eventually, sabi ko, since lagi nagkakaproblema and hindi talaga ma-adapt ng normal na Pilipino yung pagbabayad ng credit card kasi they have a fear of, commitment.
Correct.
Lalo na yung mga solution, di ba? They have a fear of paying online kasi dami kasing scam dito eh. So hindi mo maiiwasan sa kanila na kapag nagbayad ka sa web app, most likely maisip nila baka scam to, tapos makita na lang nila yung credit card bill nila kinain na pala. So that's one thing na we are trying to solve. Kasi yung adoption sa online payment and sa digitalization sa Pilipinas is medyo mabagal. Now, in between of that period, after nung sabi ko bitawan na natin yung VE Coach Josie kasi wala naman tayong kinikita. Again, nagbuo ako ng other product. And then eventually, sabi ng co-founder ko, let's make Josie, VE Coach Josie as a mobile app.
Mm.
So, sige. Pero kasi hindi ko alam paano mag-build ng mobile app. Sige. So sabi ko sa kanya, bigyan mo ako ng 2 weeks. Noong 2 weeks na yon, naral ko kung what is the best framework to use.
Mm.
Nakita ko Expo, tapos Expo React Native, tapos Cloud Code. Yun lang. Yun lang yung meron ako.
Mm.
So, naral ko siya, but before that, kasi ang core feature ni Josie ay content, di ba? Educational content about virtual assistant and AI tools on how they can adapt those tools. I built the course muna, tapos translate ko yung course into an app. Tapos dinesign ko yung app so that it can easily be consumed by the user. Kasi ang problema kasi sa mga traditional courses sa either not necessarily dito sa Pilipinas, no. Yung mga courses kasi it's like 2 to 3 hours na haba na length ng course. And malaki yung drop off ng user pagdating sa dulo kasi hindi naman nila natatapos eh.
Correct.
Hindi naman nila natatapos yung courses. Sobrang haba. At the same time boring. Tapos mga slideshow lang kasi yan. Tapos nagvo-voice over yung nagtuturo. So yung engagement wala. Sabi ko, we need to solve this kasi hindi to pwede na yung isang course ilagay mo sa app tapos ibibigay mo lang sa kanila ng ganun. Hindi. So, yung first idea ko is to make it like a Duolingo. May idea kasi Duolingo, di ba? Alam mo yung Duolingo. So, Duolingo is like a language learning app where it has modules like module 1, module 2, module 3. So, sabi ko, pwede itong maging design, architectural design in terms of consuming the content kay Josie. So, instead of module 1, 2, 3, sabi ko, para magkaroon sila ng retention dun sa app, gawin nating day 1 to 20. So, if you open the app, makikita mo, meron siyang day 1 to day 20. Tapos yun yung pinaka-basic, fundamental content ni Josie. And then after mo doon sa program na yun, na day 1 to 20, you can jump into advanced courses na makikita mo doon sa second tab, which is more advanced like critical thinking, how AI changes the VE work, something like that. So that's how we design it. And then I think yung respond ng user is really really positive in terms of yung kung paano nila na adapt yung paggamit doon sa app kasi I really made it easy to use tapos I use common elements like yung mga normal na nakikita mo sa app. Yun yung mga nilagay ko. So hindi siya hindi niya i-alienate yung user. Ibig sabihin, oh, this is a great feature. Ipindutin mo lang na ganyan. Pero user doesn't use your app that way. You need to spoon feed your user. So I think yung overall design nung app is I think na-adapt naman nung user. And then we improve the onboarding kasi the usual app. Kasi kapag nag-download ka ng app, create an account. First page pa lang create an account. That's a friction already. You need some onboarding sa app mo. Hindi pwede yung pag-install nung user tapos create an account. Magma-manual siya ng type. That's a friction. Maraming drop off. Malaki yung percentage ng users na nagda-drop dun pa lang sa first page. So, hindi na nila nakita yung loob ng app mo. Di ba? We did, we improved the onboarding. I think it's a 32-page onboarding, so like a questionnaire. If you download the app, makita mo the first question is what skills do you have? Meron ka bang home office? Tapos where do you find Josie AI? Have you used AI tools ganyan? Tapos makikita nila doon yung what they can expect doon sa app. May mga graph akong nilagay. So the users can already expect what they can see doon sa loob ng dashboard. And I never really asked the user to enter or create a account with username and password kasi nga mataas ang percentage ng drop doon. I made it like click. Tapos there's just one page doon na asking the name of the user and then that's it. Tapos they need to create an account. Doon sa pag-create nila ng account, we just use Google and Apple login. That's it. Kasi ayaw ng user nung no, magta-type na naman ako, ganyan. So we very buttery smooth from first page to paywall. So doon sa paywall naman, it's a A/B test. Ibig sabihin, hindi yun yung first na dinesign naming paywall, yun na yung nandoon sa live production version ngayon. Kasi we're constantly testing kung ano yung mag-work, kung ano yung mag-help sa conversion rate na itaas niya yung purchasing habit nung user from the time na nakita niya yung first page to paywall. So it's not like dinesign mo yung paywall tapos doon ka na mag-i-stick. Doon usually yung problem ng mga app developers. and they are not trying to, experiment and constantly iterating yung product, which is yung app. Yeah, right now we have 80,000 downloads, I think 25,000 monthly active users, and combined from Android and iOS, we are already have 11,000 ratings, which is on average of 4.9 stars. So which I think
Nice.
it's a high it's in a high level of in terms of ratings sa app. So ayun, how do I build it again? I use Expo, Claude Code, yun lang. And I think one main advantage ko, kasi I know the fundamentals, I know how software works, I know how these things yung flow ng architecture, no. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, yun lang pala ginawa niya eh. Kaya ko rin yun. But if you don't have enough experience about software engineering, sasabihin mo, ano lang naman yung AI eh, hype lang naman yan eh. Because you didn't know how to use it. You don't know how the fundamental works. And Claude Code really like 10x my development time kay Josie, kasi I think 1 week ko lang siyang dinevelop. Yung course is umabot ng 1.5 week. So basically 2.5 week nung time na yon, yun yung inabot ng development time. It is because yung language noon ay hindi pa updated kumpara ngayon. If I'm going to rebuild Josie today, I think 3 days tapos na ako, kasi mas efficient yung LLMs ngayon, like yung Sonnet 4.6. It really have, alam niya yung context ng code base. And if you prompt it like, create me a grid, that will display all the courses, alam na niya yung gagawin niya. Just ititweak mo na lang. So, the more updated yung LLMs, the more na mas efficient siya sa prompting. So, dati kasi sa isang feature na abot ako ng 5 to 6 prompts. Ngayon, 2 prompts na lang, alam na niya yung gusto kong mangyari. Kasi also the way I prompt din, detailed as much as possible. Tapos, I always trying to give the LLM context about the code base. Kasi kung wala yung context, hindi niya alam kung anong gagawin. Para lang siya magtatapon ng kung ano-ano. So, ayun, yun ang story behind how I built Josie AI. Tapos, right now, recently we got featured in Manila Bulletin, and I think that's part of marketing din as well. Yeah, so
Okay.
yan.
Yeah, hinintay lang kita matapos. So I do have actually
Okay.
2 questions, no? If we go back kanina, nasabi mo about how important the checking kasi I know a lot of builders, or sabihin na natin mga developers din, na
Mm.
it's underestimate or undervalue yung data analytics. So kanina when you are giving your story about what happened to Josie, ano yung mga different kinds of iteration na ginawa nyo, strategies and so on, I would say na you do data analytics, which you check how many drop-offs, how many people consumed by this specific strategy. Now, my question for you is, sa data analytics, how did you set it up? And also, ano yung tingin mo na nag-work sa'yo na best na, okay, ito yung kailangan nating i-track just to see what is really useful and what's not?
We learn as we go eh. So, nung una na ni-release Josie, di man namin alam yan eh. Honest with you, wala naman kami alam sa ganyan eh. And then eventually I asked people who already in that space na nagbi-build, tapos na nagko-consume ako ng like should what should I do in terms of growing Josie. And I also talk to people like si Rafael, kasi being si Rafi. He really helped me to understand the cost of acquisition, something like that. So, and also si John Bonso, shout out boss. Those people are, because you already know they have an experience with this kind of growth strategy. Syempre, doon ka lalapit sa mga marurunong na. Aside from that, I also try to understand how things are going in terms of paano nila nakita si Josie, paano sila nakarating from awareness to download. Kasi importante yun eh. So kapag alam mo kung saan yung source ng download nila, syempre doon ka magdo-double down.
Mm.
And we learn as we go. Hindi naman ako marunong mag-data analytics before. Yung post-hack parang 2
Sa
weeks ago
post-hag yung
ko lang
gamit nyo sa data analytics?
yung sa onboarding analytics, yes. Oo. Ngayon, actually, 2 weeks ago ko lang nilagay yan kay Josie. 3 months na si Josie naka-live eh. I mean, 5 months naka-live, pero all in kami sa marketing and analytics 3 months ago. So, nag-start kami in January, March na ngayon. Yung post-hack 2 weeks ko lang yan in-install kasi nag-focus kami doon sa other ways of how we can grow Josie. Pero if kasi nagra-run ka ng like app as a product, you really need to know the numbers. Kasi bulag ka eh. Bulag ka kapag hindi mo alam saan nanggagaling yung download, kapag hindi mo alam saan nagda-drop off yung user mo pag dinownload nila tapos nag-onboarding sila, tapos hindi mo alam isang page pala doon yun yung nagiging cost nung drop off nila. Kaya hindi sila tumutuloy sa paywall. So like Rafi said, nung una nagka-problem ako personally doon kasi nagta-try akong mag-run ng ads. Wala akong idea about running meta ads. Wala akong idea about acquisition cost. But so nagbigay si Rafi ng guide, ito gawin mo, ganyan ganyan ganyan. Okay. Tapos inisa-isa namin yung mga features na can improve the conversion, tapos yung retention rate, mga ganyan. So, we learn as we go. Inaaral ko rin siya nung time na nasa focus kami on marketing Josie kasi right now tapos na yung build kay Josie. Wala na akong planong magdagdag ng features kasi we're updating the courses every week. So we have a custom dashboard, doon namin nilalagay yung courses tapos magre-reflect na yun sa app. So not necessarily na magdadagdag pa ako ng features, but I don't know. But right now we're happy with the state of Josie. Wala na akong planong magdagdag ng features. But again, in terms of analytics, if you're running a product app, again, if you don't know your numbers, pinapatakbo mo yung app mo na bulag ka kasi hindi mo alam saan nagagaling yung user mo, saan galing yung nagbayad. So you're burning money basically. And that's the I think common mistakes ng founders na akala nila kapag nagtaas sila ng ad spend sa ads, tataas din yung magbabayad, which is hindi ganun yun eh. You really need to know ano yung nagko-cost nung conversion rate, di ba? So, yun, yeah, we learn as we go. Hindi ko yun para aral na parang nag-over-prepared ako, tsaka ako tapos tsaka ko siya ginawa. So, ayun, yun yung I think kasi as a founder you really need to know those important things as you go kasi sabi nga nila kapag founder ka, you're trying to fly a plane while reading the manual. So,
Really?
yung logic na yeah, yung old sayings nila about founders na nagpapalipad ka ng eroplano at the same time inaaral mo yung manual.
Sobrang
So, that's
risky.
how
Parang sobrang risky pala, no?
yeah, oo, kasi yung mga problems kasi na ma-encounter mo lang yan pag nasa field ka na. Kasi mga want-uppreneurs, ibig sabihin want-uppreneurs, hindi entrepreneurs, want-uppreneurs na gusto lang nila may idea sila. This is the next big thing, this is the next Facebook, the next Instagram. Pero
Correct.
pinasok mo na sila sa battlefield, hindi nila alam gagawin nila.
Gagawin.
Ano Ano ba yung ghost? Well, marunong ka sa technical, and I think yung technical is a foundation mo yun as well. But then if you want to grow the business, you need to learn how to read your numbers.
Mm.
So ako kasi tapos na ako doon sa ano yung ako yung pinakamagaling na tech developer. Tapos na kasi ako diyan. Matagal na ako tumalon diyan. Pero naintindihan ko yung ibang developers na gusto nilang maging alam mo yon yung app nila kailangan super complex na feature, kailangan gumamit ako ng agentic dito, agentic. May agentic na yan. Magagamit ba ng yan?
Correct.
Yung ganung state of mind kasi tapos na ako ron. Nag-jump na ako into more like nag-zoom out na ako. So I'm focusing my energy into learning how to run my numbers in terms of creating a product. If if I have an idea, I open Cloud Code tapos iko-code ko na siya tapos ite-testing ko agad. Kasi the more you overthink things, the more na magfe-fail siya kasi hindi mo ni-release. Let the user decide kung validated ba yung product mo o hindi. Yun yung I think yung common issues ng mga founder na masyado nila ino-overthink yung mga ideas nila na hindi nila alam, hindi naman kailangan ng users.
Mm.
But then if one user validated your idea, o edi na-validate ka na. Compare mo sa hindi mo ni-release kasi masyado mong iniisip na, kailangan nito ng
Perfect, no?
agent, AI, yan. And yeah, release the build it first and then release it as fast as possible. Let the users validate your idea and then if meron kang feedback, gawin mo tapos i-iterate mo yung product and then from there, ayun, and that's how you learn how to improve the product itself and matututo ka din kung paano yung behavior ng users mo and how you adapt it to your app or your product. Yun.
Agree. Actually, tinamaan ako dun. Um,
Saan?
sa part na yun na mga founders. Actually, that's that's the challenge that we have. No, I do have already the engagement. I do have already the capability to market Upskwela, but hindi ko pa siya na-market na sobrang ganon, no? Na solid talaga na market. It's because I do have other things to focus on. And right now, we're having a problem. I would say, kahit ako, marami na akong engagement and so on, I still have a problem on the marketing strategy or on the sales as well, how you reach out people. Kasi, lately ko lang din na realize, or not lately, but last year when we are building Upskwela, we already have some, very good amount of user na nagustuhan nila, ganito, ganyan. But the problem is, not all ng mga user na nire-reach out namin is nagre-reply agad. And we don't do any follow-ups because we're not really that good in sales. And most of the founder that I have, all of us are just tech. And that's what we're trying to figure out. And it's really good that you give us an idea, not only me, but also my other founders and also the viewers right now. Now, it is important to really understand kung ano ba yung feedback ng user mo and also if the user really validated kung goods ba talaga yung binuild mo na application rather than making your application in a way na don't release it, just make it perfect and then saka natin i-release. And sobrang good point nun kasi we see na, nakikita rin naman natin sa iba't ibang other founders, other users, other application there, no, na nag-update sila isang beses tapos hindi mo makita, kanina ba na, parang isang taon na or 5 buwan na hindi pa rin nare-release yung application nila. So thank you for that, Franz. Now, let's step back naman, no? Kasi masyado na tayo napunta doon sa present mo and doon na natin nalaman yung mga struggles mo, how you build Josie and ano yung mga strategies na natutunan mo along the way when building it and marketing it and so on and so on. Now, ano ba si Franz before bago maging polished Franz? Kasi lagi ko tinatanong sa mga sa mga guests ko na syempre, ano ka na eh, alam mo na yung Polish France, alam na natin yan, nakikita na natin sa internet, nakita na natin yung startup niya, ganito ganyan, ganito ganyan. Ngayon, paano ka ba nagsimula? Ano bang history ni Franz bago siya naging founder, paano siya naging, na-meet yung title niya?
So, ako naman, I'm just a normal developer. I study computer science and I'm a dropout kasi nung college ako. Hindi ko tinapos yung bachelor's ko kasi na-bored ako doon sa sa lesson. And then at the same time, I really need to work kasi just to help the household chores ganyan sa yung parents ganyan kasi we're in a middle class naman. Although okay naman yung aming lifestyle before, but then you really want more, 'di ba?
Hmm.
And then bata pa lang ako kasi meron akong entrepreneurial spirit. So nagbabasa ako libro, lagi kong kine-question ano ba yung ginagawa ng yung mga naka-Fortuner, bakit sila nakakabili ng mga
Hmm.
ganong mamahaling, 'di ba? Mamahaling sasakyan or ano ba yung ginagawa nila? What's the thought process behind doon sa mga tao na nakakaangat sa buhay? So, inaral ko siya like I built multiple small businesses before. Nagtitinda ako ng peanut butter,
Hmm.
gumagawa yung nanay ko ng peanut butter, tapos binebenta ko sa school. Although hindi naman yun yung nagiging source ng income. Ano lang, gusto ko lang.
Mm.
Kasi gusto kong matutunan yung gusto kong matutunan yung business side of it. Kasi um, you know, gusto ko yung mag-raise ng pera, ganyan.
Hmm.
So, eventually, maaga kasi ako na in love. So, maaga kami nagka-baby.
Hmm.
And then, throughout the 10 years, I need to provide for the family. So, yung 10 years na yon natulog yung entrepreneurial spirit ko. So, kasi kailangan
Hmm.
mag-provide muna. And then, sabi ko, nung medyo nakakaluwag-luwag na ng kaunti, sabi ko, what if I try to build my own products on the side? And then, nag-start ako nung pandemic, siguro 5 years ago. Unti-unti lang, hanggang sa dumating yung ChatGPT. And naisip ko, kaya nitong mag-code.
Hmm.
And then I asked HTML code. Nagulat ako kasi naglabas siya ng HTML. Sabi ko, shit. Sabi ko, parang light bulb moment yun na parang eureka moment. Sabi, shit, eto na. This is the next level of sa tech.
Hmm.
Sabi ko, ito na. And then, dami ko na naging idea noon. Dami na, para na akong nasa cloud 9 kasi ang dami kong pwedeng gawin, ang dami kong pwedeng gawin. Kasi siyempre, ako personally busy ako sa full-time job, tapos may mga other things pa na kailangang asikasuhin. So yung side project laging naiiwan. Sabi ko, if ma-manually kong gawin 'to, hindi ako matatapos. So nung dumating yung ChatGPT, sabi ko, "Shit, eto na 'yon." So nung time ng ChatGPT, di inaral ko siya. Tapos, I build multiple products na hindi ko ni-release para lang ma-testing ko kung ano yung capabilities niya, kung paano ko ma-u-utilize yung ChatGPT. And then, I'm able to build una yung game na ginawa ko, tapos for work, yung custom tool na ginawa ko sa work, ganyan. Tapos sabi ko, what if I build an app that answers questions ng mga tao kung paano mag-start as a virtual assistant and how to start with remote work career. So, ginamit ko yung ChatGPT to build VA Coach Josie as a chatbot. Ayokong tawagin chatbot kasi ang cheap ng chatbot, pero AI AI chat. Yun gusto kong
Okey.
itawag, AI chat. And then ginamit ko yung API ng ChatGPT nung time na yon. Ta's binild ko yung VA Coach Josie. And then from there, sumasabay na yung mga improvements from other LLMs, like lumabas na yung Claude, lumabas na yung Manus, lumabas na yung mga ano, yung mga recent LLMs. So, isa-isa 'yon, bawat release ng bagong LLM, tina-try ko siya, nagbi-build ako ng custom project. I really saw the improvements of these LLMs from the start na ni-release
Mm.
yung ChatGPT. So that's why um, I self-proclaim credible naman pagdating sa experience with AI tools. And from there, I'm able to build multiple products na kasi kung walang AI tools like ChatGPT, I'm not really able to build it myself. Kasi again, personal time sa full-time job. But then nung dumating yung mga AI tools, I'm able to leverage it as to be a 10x, quote unquote 10x developer and do the yung complex job which is coding for me. So I have the idea, AI tools doing the building, and then I'm doing the marketing ganyan. So I thought ito na yon. I think this is the opportunity that I cannot miss kasi ito na yung parang eureka moment na hinihintay ko noon pa na something na can do the building for me. So nung nag-start ako sa Cloud Code, yun na. Nagtuloy-tuloy na. I'm able to build 5 products and other things. Pero marami din akong tinry eh. And then I learned as I go. Tapos ayun, yun yan. Doon na yun na, the rest is history. Nandito na yung Josie AI
Mm.
and we're very happy with what where we're in right. And we are trying to, focus on growth. Yun,
Mm.
yung growth.
So, it seems like na nagbigay sa'yo talaga ng foundation to really become a founder today or a builder today is yung nagsisulputan na sila Claude, sila ChatGPT, and syempre, of course, your curiosity sa
Mm.
capabilities ng mga AI na yon
Yes.
if i-combine
Mm.
mo yung ideas mo into
Yes, yes.
building with them. Now,
Yes, that's
what was the hardest challenge nung tinatry mo tong bagay na to or wala ba naging ano mo yun, challenge na nangyari sa'yo nung tinatry mong
challenge.
mag-build with them?
Nung ano pa, hindi pa sila context aware. Kasi nung
Mm.
lumabas yung Windsurf, I believe Windsurf yung una kong ginamit and meron siyang custom LLM for coding. Hindi siya gano'n kagaling. And I thought, siguro after 3 months, nagantay ako after 3 months, may nirelease na bagong model and then I tried that model and then from there nag-improve na siya. But in terms of challenge, siguro yung yung parang when you release a product kasi, una pagtatawanan ka tapos until such time na, ano lang 'to, eh, ganyan, eh. Parang GPT, wrapper lang 'to, eh,
Mm.
ganyan, eh. Sabi ko, "Okay, yeah, I mean, it's true naman, 'di ba?" Yung very first iteration ni VE Cosciusi is ChatGPT wrapper, nilagyan ko lang ng logo,
Mm.
tapos pinrompt ko siya as, as a virtual assistant coach. But then eventually, the more these LLMs got improved, uh, mas naging complex yung idea ko and then I'm able to build it with those new released LLMs. And I think yun yung yung self-motivation, yun yung challenge, eh. Kasi if you have an idea tapos gusto mo talaga siyang, mag-succeed, you'll do anything. But then merong mga blockers like personal things, may other things sa work, ganyan. Tapos ang dami. Parang hindi siya straight line na pag gano'n, ano siya, eh, gano'n siya, eh, oh.
Mm.
Maraming ang dadaanan bago ka makarating sa tuktok. Which is if you really lock in and showing up until it works, I think that's what happened to me. I locked in, I push myself to, to make this as a successful business. And yeah, yun yung challenge kasi hindi naman yan hindi naman yan straight line horizontal na papunta sa taas. There's always blockers tapos maraming factor siya. Like tulad ngayon, economic factor. So 'di ba may mga times na yung customers mo in-expect mo na Meron silang pera na pambayad pero wala pala kasi nga they need to prioritize their financials. Tulad ng mga ganyang factors tulad niya. So, yeah, just lock in, show up until it works and eventually you're gonna attract success kasi success is something you attract eh. So if you do the work, success will come. Ganun.
So parang ano talaga siya I think it's also it's also related sa sa motto ko in life. My motto in life kasi
Mm,
is just start, keep moving forward. So no matter what
mm.
happened, just start and keep moving forward. So yeah. Okay, so for all the things na nangyari sa iyo, Fran, sa mga challenges na experiences mo and sa mga
Mm.
discoveries and uh achievement na-achieve mo, what's one lesson or advice na hindi mo makalimutan na nagpabago sa'yo?
Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Ibig sabihin, you do self-development,
Hmm,
work on yourself than you do on your job.
hmm,
Mas magbigay ka ng effort sa sarili mo as a person na mag-level up instead of magle-level up ka sa loob ng
kumpanya.
square kumpanya yung cubicle na yon
Hmm,
kasi sila lang benefit sa eh.
correct.
Instead of you improving yourself kasi that's where the mindset of the successful people came in yung self development at the same time success leaves clues. Ibig sabihin, marami na naging successful na tao sa mundo, uh, get the framework from them. Obviously, hindi magwo-work sa'yo yung nag-work sa kanya, but you can connect the dots.
Correct.
Ibig sabihin, if nag-work to sa kanya, hindi nag-work sa'yo, find someone who do something different, tapos connect the dots. Oh, nag-work sa akin. What if I double down on something what works, di ba?
Hmm,
Tapos ulit ng tao na you can get advice from. Yeah, ganun. Yun yung dinadala ko until now kasi I'm really trying to, grow as a person and as a founder and as a father and ayoko namang umabot na sa pagiging presidente but I mean as a person yun yung mga aking dinadala
hmm.
right now. So, yun.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I have one video about it as well na relate dyan na lagi kong mini-mention or lagi kong ina-advise sa mga viewers ko na you should treat yung work as a paid training ground, not your,
Mm.
I mean, hindi
Tama
niyo
yun,
kailangan pagpokusan yung mga work niyo doon. I-treat niyo
tama.
lang siya as a paid training ground kasi ang pinaka-importante is you and which
Mm.
agree ako doon sa sinabi mo, Franz. Now, Franz, thank you so much for all the
Mm.
messages and also sa mga pag-share mo na experience and also we know na kung paano ka ba nagsimula and ano yung mga naging
Ay,
struggle mo and paano ka naging successful kay Josie AI. Now, the last
mm.
thing, Franz, is saan ka makikita ng tao kung gusto ka nilang i-follow?
Active ako sa LinkedIn. Yun lang yung aking channel of, flow of my idea kasi mahilig ako magsulat.
Mm.
So nandun lahat. Follow me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn search nyo lang Franz Paul Pastrana. And yun. I'm building in public so basically you can see the progress of Josie, ano yung mga strategy na ginawa namin. And if you're really hindi ako kasi sumasagot sa personal messages eh. So comment lang kayo doon sa mga post then eventually sasagot din ako. Pero yun. If you PM me, hindi ako magre-reply. Busy na rin, busy na rin.
Ayos. Iba talaga
Oo.
pagka busy na, pagka rich kid na, no?
Ay, hindi.
Ayos. Thank you so much, Franz.
Thank you sa invite, Boss Rod. Alam mo pina-follow kita lagi, galing-galing mo mga motivational sa mga student mo eh. Tama 'yan, tama 'yan. So
Ay,
'yun, salamat boss and 'yun, thank
thank
you.
you so much. Really appreciate the time, Franz, again. Thank you for accepting the invite and I hope this is not the first and the last
Hmm.
podcast. So,
Oo,
baka marami pa
sabi ka
tayong
lang.
mga possible na,
Basta ikaw.
na
Basta
episodes.
ikaw. Sabi ka lang.
Yes, thank you so much, Franz. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Sounds good.